All right, this computer here is telling me it's 7 o'clock, so I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, first item on our special meeting agenda is our public hearing. So I'm going to close our normal special meeting and then open public hearing for our rate increase ordinance. This is titled Ordinance 2020-12. And this is amending an ordinance 2019-2 establishing a new sewer rate and charges for the town of Clayton, Indiana. Any comments from the town council members? Any public comment? Okay, then I will close our public hearing and reopen our special business meeting for the town of Clayton and move on to new business. First item on the new business, adoption of the ordinance 2012 that we just had a public hearing on. 2020-12, sorry. An ordinance amending ordinance 2019-2 establishing new sewer rates and charges for the town of Clayton, Indiana. All right, any comments from town council members? All right, I need a motion to adopt.
Make a motion to adopt.
All right, Dave's got our first motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Steve, thank you. Second motion, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is consideration of commitment letter from First Internet Public Finance Corp. And authorization of town council president and clerk treasurer to sign this commitment letter. We got this letter emailed to us from First Internet. And essentially it's a standard contract for a loan from this bank for the bond.
I'm happy to talk about it if you'd like, Doug.
Okay, Dean.
Floor
is yours.
With the bond anticipation notes, you had the ability to just negotiate directly with potential purchasers for that, and we did that on your behalf with First Internet Bank. Quite honestly, we went to them because we know that they're very active in the market. When we do a lot of competitive bids for bond anticipation notes, they're often bidding and they're often the winners. So we went to them. They provided this loan commitment letter to us at an interest rate of 1.42%. So I was pleased with the rate that they offered. Felt like it's very competitive, and kind of in that realm of where I thought we would be. Terms are consistent with what was authorized in the bond ordinance. In this case, we're gonna have, it's a 1-year term for the bond anticipation note, but keep in mind, we're fully anticipating closing on your SRF loan by the end of March. So when you do that, you would actually pay off this bond anticipation note. So, and First Internet has an understanding of that. We just kept a 1-year term just in case something goes haywire and you're not able to get closed with SRF in March, and you've still got some time to deal with it and get funding in place to take this out. But that's, certainly the expectation that it would be taken out in March with the SRF loan. So, otherwise, like I said, it's consistent with the terms that was authorized in the bond ordinance that has been adopted. I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have.
You'll note in there too the closing date of November 12th.
And I can let those folks at First Internet know that. I know they're always anxious to know that their offer has been accepted, so, you know,
Sure.
to the extent it's accepted tonight, I can let them know and kind of, basically let them know we're kind of holding that in escrow, so to speak, until the, remonstrance period expires.
Okay, any questions for Dean from town council members? I did have one question on the interest rate you talked about. They have a list on the very back page of the 1.42% like you talked about, but then the next line down they have a net interest cost of 2.167%.
Yeah, I think what
And-
they've done there is, you'll notice on page 1 fees, they charge a $3,000 lender's counsel fee, and they're factoring that in almost as if it's an underwriter's discount, because you guys did authorize an underwriter's discount. They're not charging one, but they charge the lender's counsel fee. I wouldn't necessarily factor that in the same way that they have as far as it factor into the NIC, your net interest cost, but that's what they've done. It's just they've added that lender's counsel fee into the total interest cost to back into that 2.1679%.
Okay. That explains that. I was confused by that at first, why they were two different interest rates listed. Okay. Any other?
You need a motion?
Yes.
Make a motion to accept.
And just to clarify, this motion is not only to accept the commitment letter, but to allow this to be signed by the president and the clerk treasurer.
Right.
So first motion
Make a motion to accept.
and second motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries.
We'll help you through the process as you get closer to closing. We'll provide a closing letter addressed to Jenny, and a separate letter for wiring instructions, because they'll wire the proceeds to the town. So I'll want to get wiring instructions from you at some point, Jenny.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is the supplemental engagement letter from Stewart, Witham, and Youngs. For this letter just engages Graham to help more related to this
Yes.
bond council.
I talked to Adam about kind of payment of fees and associated with the bond work, council work I've done. He said SRF is they're pretty sticklers on having that documented. And so he suggested that we do a supplemental engagement letter rather than sending an invoice, so that there's a fixed fee amount, and then we've got that documentation that we can provide to them if requested.
Okay. So any questions from town council members on the letter for Graham? All right. I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to consider the supplemental engagement letter with the attorneys.
Okay, and a second.
I'll second.
All right, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. Any other business for our special council meeting on October 27th? Did Dan hear me?
Nope.
He's gotta have something.
Yeah.
Pavement asset management plan, I think, is on his agenda.
I think I might have left it in my office.
You left it in your office. All right.
But it's basically a $5,000 fee with HWC to update our pavement asset management plan for 2020, which we're required to do for LPAT.
Dan.
Bless your heart.
You knew I was just a second.
All right, so any questions about the pavement asset management plan through HWC Engineering from town council members?
You know what, one thing I might mention too, this is a minor update. You're required to update every 2 years, a major update every 2 years. This is a minor update. Since we did one last year, this will keep us current. 2021 we'll do, basically, we'll have to update it again. It's gonna be an annual thing.
Is the primary one more involved than this one?
Yeah, a little bit more,
Okay.
yeah. This one basically will take into account more than likely the work we did on the streets we did this year. So then next year, they'll come back and actually re-rate all the streets again.
Okay.
And this helps us stay current in order to be able to participate in the community crossing matching grant
Correct.
programs and what we participate in to do that. All right.
This basically keeps us in good standing with ITAP and LTAP, so.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay. First motion.
Second.
Second from Steve. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Motion carries. Anything else?
Yeah, I do have one other thing. And it has to do with the, funds we spent to do this. First we have to be certified through the state. So I need a signature. And this needs to be notarized by Jenny too, but it's basically gets us certified with IFA, and then once we're on their list basically as being certified, then I'll send this request for refund to them. We had $33,000 available. This project cost $13,066.64, so we've got roughly $20,000 left that would have to be used by December 31st of this year. So that we have to do first, and then this we'll do second. And I'm gonna get your signature. We can do this a couple of different ways. We can wait until we're actually approved by them, or you can go ahead and sign the other document, and then as soon as we're approved, I'll just submit this claim.
Dan and Jenny, I emailed you guys about this, right? So you know you can get your public safety cost reimbursed. So this is the CARES Act funds you're talking about. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware of this, that the state kind of changed the rules and kind of loosened up what you can use those funds for. So now any public safety costs that you have, including payroll costs that you incur from March through October, you can reimburse yourselves for that. So, you know, you've got some specific things going on, like you're talking about here, that are reimbursable, but now, even like those payroll costs for public safety, if you submit all that information of what you've incurred from March through October, you can get that reimbursed. So that's a good thing for a lot of communities, because otherwise there was gonna be a lot of unused funds, but I think now everybody's kind of finding a way to use it.
So actually, we could include Matt's payroll in this, right? And I wouldn't wanna have to explain, well, I won't go into that. But we could, but it has to be a separate, each item we do has to be a separate claim to them, like this, or request. This is request number 1, which includes all of this. If I can get your signature on here as the authorized representative, like I said, as soon as that's approved, I'll send this to them.
And this just takes the one signature also, and then
And then
her
Jenny.
notary.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
I think she attests to that, doesn't she?
It's
Oh,
a
no, it has
notary.
no-
She has
okay.
to do
Yeah.
her notary thing that you. A little bit more official than attesting.
And that's saying you're the authorized agent, and basically, that's what we're entitled to, that's what we spent, that's what we've got left. And that'll be request number one, and these are all the receipts and everything that I'll send along with this. And if we can get these ordinances tonight signed, and get me a copy of them before you leave, so that I can get them to everybody that needs copies of them, I'd appreciate it. And that's all I have.
Okay. Very good. Anything else from the town council members? All right, do we have a consensus on adjournment? Ready to adjourn? Okay, meeting adjourned at 7:17.